Morning and welcome to San Juan County Council's Tuesday, September 15th, 2020 regular meeting. My apologies for the delay, with a 15-minute late start. There's a little delay with ferries and the weather today. I hope everyone's being safe. Call meeting to order at 9:15. If we could all please rise. And Ingrid, give the allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Ingrid. And now we will do the Coast Salish acknowledgement. Let us all acknowledge we reside on the ancestral lands and waters of the Coast Salish people who have taken care of these islands since time immemorial. We have no excused absences. Approval of the agenda. So, Mike, as we talk about agenda really quick, you're there, correct?
I am here, yeah.
Good morning. So, Council, Mr. Thomas had requested that we look at the and look to add dates for budget decisions. So, So I know we had a couple weeks off here. Are there any dates on Mondays? Mike has suggested that we continue to meet on Mondays or start meeting on budget. Are there conflicts in advance that we should know about, or can we, if I give a heads up for this, can we talk about it next week when you have a chance to think about it?
Hey, what Mondays are we talking about? The Mondays that coincide with the Tuesdays, or all Mondays, all the time?
Mike had suggested Monday and Tuesday from now until the end of the year.
I think we'd probably be okay if we met on the Mondays that coincide with the Tuesdays.
Okay. So, are we able to meet on the 28th?
I am.
Let me get back. Yeah, I am.
Okay, great. Thank you. Did we get confirmation for the 9:30 Board of Health meeting? Has that been scheduled for sure?
So far, everybody says they can make it.
Because I'm not available from 1 to 4 on the 30th.
So, Councilmember Hughes?
Yes, sir.
This is Mark. I think we would be able to be done by 1 o'clock, so we can go from 11:30 to 1 if that works for you and your schedule.
Perfect.
Okay.
Is that all right with council?
Works for me.
On the September 30th?
Correct.
No, probably won't work, but I'll find out.
Okay, I'm sorry. There was an email that was sent out. Well, we'll just confirm. Let us know, Jamie, and if not, we'll just move the Board of Health meeting.
Okay.
The next Monday would be the 12th of October.
Works for me.
Let me check. Yeah, that works.
Okay. How about the 26th of October?
That works for me.
Works for me.
Okay. And then November 2nd.
One point of clarification, Mr. Chair, is the council meeting on the 27th still in Friday Harbor?
Yes, sir. So, unless COVID changes, we need to maintain the same. I guess it depends on the OPMA, and what the governor's ruling. I'm going to assume that every meeting will be based in Friday Harbor for the rest of the year, unless the OPMA is changed by the governor. Is that acceptable to both of you?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yes, the 27th will be changed. I think right now it's set for Orcas, so we would make that Friday Harbor.
Right, exactly.
Thank you for bringing that up. And then we had, on the calendar I'm looking at, which was from August, I have the 2nd and the 9th as Mondays already scheduled that we hadn't taken off. Is that okay for both of you?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then if it's possible, I'd like to have a Tuesday, the 10th be our second meeting in November. Is that okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's leave it like that and see where budget comes. And we may need to add a few more meetings, maybe the 19th and 20th in October if we're not in a good place in the budget. Is that acceptable?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
And Jamie, again, are both of you, we're throwing this at you after we had said we're going to stick with the schedule that we had. So I understand if there's conflicts that have already happened, just let me know and we'll try to work around it.
So the 19th, October 19 and 20 is a maybe.
Right now, yes, I have it as not meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll get, as we get through to today and 2 weeks from now, we'll figure out where we're at in the budget, and then I'll come back later on and see if we need to meet and let you know.
Okay.
If that's something that we can't do, that's okay as well.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. Ingrid forwarded that there's a couple things that we're going to move to next week that are on the agenda, if it's all right with council. The vacation fee resolution will be, yes, Ingrid?
I'm sorry, Mr. Hughes, but we don't have a meeting scheduled next week. Did you want to schedule it the 22nd September?
No, I said 29.
Okay, you said move it to next week, so I.
Sorry, the next meeting, move it to the next meeting on the 29th.
Thank you.
All right, so 3 things I'm going to take off the agenda today, if it's all right with council. The fee resolution, we're not ready for a presentation from staff yet on that. The diversity, equity, inclusion discussion, I need another week to pull together what we're going to work on. And then the 2021 budget discussion, we'll get into that in 2 weeks. We just didn't have anything prepared between people being off and myself being off. I wasn't ready for those 3 discussions. Is that all right with council?
Yep.
All right. Ingrid, we do not have anything. We have minutes. Approval of the minutes. Have you had an opportunity to meet for the 25th?
I have one clarifying question.
Yes, sir.
So in that meeting, did we vote to support the annexation of the outer islands with San Juan County Fire, or did we vote to put the issue on the ballot?
The vote would be to put it on the ballot, I think.
All right, so
I thought that's what we were doing.
well, I thought so too, but the wording in the minutes is a little potentially confusing. Because it's a public hearing for a resolution supporting annexation. And I don't think that's quite right. It's a public hearing for putting the annexation on the ballot.
That's fine. The minutes to reflect that, Ingrid?
Yes, absolutely. I believe the idea was that that would be the name of the resolution. However, I'll work with you, Mr. Watson, and we'll reword that to be more accurate.
Great, thank you. Otherwise, I move we approve the August 25th meeting minutes of the San Juan County Council as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of August 2020 as amended. Is there any comments or questions? Without seeing all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you very much. Have everyone had a chance to look at the consent agenda?
Yep.
Entertain a motion for approval of consent agenda, please.
I move we approve the consent agenda for the San Juan County Council meeting of Tuesday, September 15th, 2020.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the consent agenda for Tuesday, September 15th, 2020. Any questions? Without seeing all those, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Ingrid, is there a copy of the proclamation that I should read?
Yes, it should be behind your consent, or maybe behind your calendar, but I certainly have it here.
Bill, I have this ready for you to read if you'd like.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
All right, so our next agenda is in support of a proclamation supporting September as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. I will read it and then ask council for support. Supporting September as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, whereas September is National Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and whereas prostate cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in men, recognizing that while all men are at risk for prostate cancer, African American men have the highest incidence of mortality of prostate cancer in the world, and whereas there will be an estimated 191,130 new cases of prostate cancer nationally in the year of 2020, and there will be over 333,300 deaths from prostate cancer in the same year. About 89 will be diagnosed with prostate cancer during his lifetime, according to the American Cancer Society. And whereas in 2020, it's estimated that in Washington State there will be 4,040 new cases of prostate cancer diagnosed, and an estimated 750 deaths from prostate cancer. And whereas the Us Too Friday Harbor chapter provides programs and materials to advocate and educate men to have an informed discussion with a provider about prostate cancer by age 50 and by age 45 if they have a family history of cancer or are after. Now, therefore, be it resolved that hereby expresses support of September as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and that the clerk of the county council shall attest to this proclamation proclaimed the 15th day of September 2020, San Juan County Council, Washington. I would entertain a motion for approval of this proclamation.
I move approval of a proclamation supporting September as Prostate Cancer Awareness Month.
Second, we have a motion and a second for approval of this proclamation.
What was that?
Oh, is there any discussion?
Oh.
And without stating, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Watson?
I abstain.
I'm sorry, and abstaining. So motion carries 2-0 with an abstention. Thank you very much. Do we have any written correspondence?
No. Yes, there was, I didn't know if you wanted to bring forward Mr. Klein. Mr. Klein had sent his letter in, and it should be in your packet.
But I think that's a public hearing.
All right, we'll start online. There's a few books here. Read off the last 4 digits of your phone number. And this is 5566. Would you like to read public comment? Okay, without hearing any, I'll go to the next person. There's number 4514. Would you like to provide public comment at this point?
Yes, I would. Can you hear me?
Yes. If you could please state your name and what time.
My name is Jim McNary, and I am representing the Old Military Road Trail Committee, and I want to provide some public comment about the TIP plan.
Great. We will also be talking about the TIP in our public hearing, but please go ahead.
Oh, so you want me to do it now, or do you want me to wait?
We'd prefer to have you wait, if that's all right.
I can wait.
Great, okay.
You said my phone number, so.
No problem, thank you, sir. Dale Heisinger, would you like to provide public comment? All right, the next person I have is acknowledged as Liz Michelson, and the last four digits are 5587. Okay. The next person, Mr. Jarman, would you like to provide public comment at this point?
No, thank you. For later, possibly.
If you're regarding the one of the public hearing, is that?
No. The only time I put in public comment is it's on your agenda item for voting for the outer islands to annex into Fire District 3.
And you're representing the fire district, Mr. Jarman?
Yes, I am.
Great, thank you. All right. And then Mr. Gomez from the EDC. Just listening.
Good morning. Just listening. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Council, I guess we have one write-in public comment from Fred Klein from Orcas Island. I don't have an exact copy of it. I'm sure you may have had an opportunity to read it. The comment is regarding Prune Alley, and the summary is that Mr. Klein does not feel like this plan is representative of plans that were made in the past, and feels that this does not meet desires of the East Sound community, and we should consider another plan. And Mr. Klein, if I haven't done that justice, we can revisit it in our next meeting. All right, at that point, is there anyone else who's online who would like to provide public comment? Please unmute yourself. All right, hearing none, we will move on. Thank you very much. It is now 9:32. We will open our public hearing with public testimony accepted. We are now going to be speaking on our Transportation Improvement Plan, TIP, and our annual construction plan of ACP. Colin Hunchmer, County Engineer. The floor is yours, Mr. Hunchmer.
Good morning, Council. As Mr. Hughes stated, the purpose of today is to hold a regulatory public hearing on the TIP. You have a staff report summarizing the first and second touch of the transportation programs. Also accompanying the two adopting resolutions for the TIP and the ACP. So just briefly on the staff report, Council first was presented this material on July 7th. We discussed where we are in relation to the program that was adopted last year. Two projects were completed this year, Missing Mountain Road and Haven Road on Orcas. We had 5 projects that moved off the TIP onto our long-range planning, primarily because those projects remained to be funded or had no scope defined. And also we continue to have some uncertainty regarding transportation funding due to COVID-related impacts. We had one project moved off the TIP as reprogrammed as roadway maintenance. That would be some trail work in Lopez Village. And then only one new project added to the TIP, the locally grant-funded trail project in Deer Harbor, advocated by the Deer Harbor Plan Review Committee. So that was presented on July 7th in the first touch. On August 25th on the second touch, Council was briefed on the myriad of transportation reports, the priority array, the bridge report, the marine report, and our
Colin, it sounds like we have lost you.
You have the public hearing, receive public testimony, and possibly conclude the public hearing. And Council has one more time to consider this material and potentially adopt it on October 13th. In between now and October 13th, the Planning Commission will also conclude their review of the 6-year Transportation Improvement Program, the TIP, and I will ensure that Council receives any findings resulting from the Planning Commission's review between now and the meeting in October. So with that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Hughes, and I'll stand by if any questions come up you want me to answer.
So Colin, just for clarification before I ask council for questions, so we're setting today up as a third touch, and it is our public hearing, so we'll take public comment, but you're asking for us to hold a vote until we hear from the planning commission, is that correct?
I think you can conclude the public hearing today at your pleasure, but I wouldn't adopt either of these resolutions until October 13th.
Great, thank you. Mr. Stevens, do you have any questions for Mr. Hunter?
I'll hold my questions till after public comment.
Great, thank you. Mr. Watson?
Not at this time.
All right, okay, thank you very much. So at this point, we will open the public testimony, public comment section of this public hearing. You have 3 minutes to speak. Please state the name and which island you're calling from. So I think we had someone on the last just with 515.
You mean 4514?
Sorry. Yes, sir.
Okay, my name's Jim McNary, and I'm on San Juan Island, and I'm representing the Old Military Road Trail Committee. And we submitted a 9-page document with outlining some pedestrian safety improvement projects we'd like to be considered in the TIP plan. We submitted that to Public Works at the beginning of August, and I'm here to talk about those this morning. And I think I hope that you may have had access to that document that Public Works has. But anyway, the Old Military Road Trail Committee is in the process of trying to put together an 18 to 20 mile multi-use backbone trail that's going to run from English Camp to American Camp on San Juan Island. And there are several pedestrian safety improvements that we'd like to see along the trail. And I'm here to talk about the southern third of the proposed trail, which is going to run from American Camp to Baylor Hill Road. And so these pedestrian safety improvements, there's 4 of them, and I'll take them in order as they appear in the document. The first one involves a pedestrian crosswalk with signage on Cattle Point Road and Rossler Road. Trail users are going to be following the American Camp Trail from the American Camp Visitor Center until Rossler Road. That's already in existence now. But they need to get across Cattle Point Road safely. So we'd like to see a pedestrian crosswalk with some signage that alerts approaching vehicles that there's a trail crossing at Rossler Road. And then once the users of the trail cross Cattle Point Road, then they're going to be heading along False Bay Drive. And we think False Bay Drive is a pretty safe, not very heavily traveled road on the island. And it's safe for pedestrians to walk along the side of the road as well as bicyclists to use it, except there's a handful of 90-degree turns with very limited sight distance. And we'd like to see some share the road signage installed on False Bay Drive that alerts drivers to the fact that there could be pedestrians as well as bicyclists on the road. And then at the 3 90-degree turns on False Bay Drive, we'd like to see some crushed gravel side paths installed by Public Works that'll take pedestrians off of the main roadway and onto the right-of-way, so just to enhance the safety of people that are walking the trail. The third improvement that we'd like to see is another pedestrian crosswalk, and this is at Baylor Hill Road and False Bay Drive. The Baylor Hill, everybody knows that Baylor Hill Road is a fairly heavily traveled road on San Juan Island, and cars are moving at a high rate of speed on that road oftentimes. And we don't want anybody walking along Baylor Hill Road. We want to get them off of the road. The trail is going to be along Baylor Hill Road for a short distance until it heads north to Zylstra Lake, to the land banks of Zylstra Lake and King Sisters properties. And so on Baylor Hill Road, we want to get people across from False Bay to the north side of Baylor Hill Road safely. So we'd like to see another pedestrian crosswalk installed with, again, appropriate signage warning drivers that they're approaching a trail crossing. Then on the north side of Baylor Hill Road, we'd like to see another crushed gravel side path in the county right-of-way on the north side of the road that will extend from False Bay Drive to Ranchos Road. And we know that it's pretty imperative to get any kind of pedestrian traffic off of False Bay Road, per se, the pavement of False Bay Road. And we also know that improvements on the drainage on excuse me, I said Bay Road, but I meant Baylor Hill. That Public Works has prioritized trying to fix the drainage problems on Baylor Hill Road in this TIP plan. And we just like to make sure that our request for a crushed gravel side path is incorporated into the fix that the county and Public Works come up with for that seasonal flooding issue during the rainy season, so that we can accommodate trail users on that crushed gravel side path when the drainage issues are addressed. Now, just the last thing I want to say is that the Old Military Road Trail Committee was scheduled to give a presentation to the council on March 24th of this year, but then COVID changed all of that. And we appreciate the opportunity to be able to make a more detailed presentation to the council later in October, where we can take a little bit more time to be able to go in depth about the vision that we have to create this commemorative trail that will highlight island history and culture and provide people on the island with a wonderful outdoor recreation opportunity. And so we would like to get on the agenda for a meeting to be able sometime in later October to be able to do that. So that's all I've got.
Great, thank you very much. Is there questions from council regarding this comment?
None for me.
None for me.
All right. I'd be interested to get a tour of what you're talking about at some point, and I can take that offline with you. Is that all right?
Sure.
Great. Thank you for your public comment. Is there anyone else at this point who would like to provide public comment regarding the TIP or the Transportation Improvement Plan? I'm going to ask one more time, is there anyone who has called in who would like to provide public comment regarding the transportation improvement plan? You can unmute and speak. All right, without seeing any more comments, I will close the public comment, public testimony section of this public hearing with the right to reopen. Council, comments, thoughts? Mr. Watson?
Looks like, the TIP and the ACP are right in line with what we've been talking about for months, and so I really don't have any questions. I support what Public Works is trying to accomplish in the next year.
Mr. Stevens?
Yeah, I've got a couple questions for Mr. Huntermer if he's still on.
Great, floor's yours, Mr. Stevens.
Yeah, Colin, we've gotten these letters about the Prune Alley project, and at least what is represented in the letters is not what we voted on to approve going forward with that project. And I looked up on the internet and saw some of the public materials made available to the public concerning the project. And it seems a lot different than what we started with, than what we approved. So if you could clarify it, it'd be great.
This is Colin, County Engineer. I have not seen the letter that you're speaking of, Mr. Stevens, and I don't, and I guess without seeing it, I can't. It's unclear to me where the design would have changed from what council's approved. I think about 18 months ago, council, in a commitment to make sure that the project gets completed, approved the design where the improvements were to be constructed within the existing right-of-way, meaning that council wasn't going to pursue condemnation action if adjoining property owners weren't willing to dedicate or receptive to dedicate land to facilitate a different kind of streetscape. So Public Works staff has met with adjoining property owners at great length in relation to this project, and so those that did not want to dedicate land, the Public Works Department developed a streetscape within the existing county road right-of-way. And that was the major adopting decision by council when you approved the Prune Alley project, was to construct the improvements within the existing county road right-of-way. And that is consistent with the plan that exists today. Curbs, gutters, sidewalks, pedestrian ramps, everything within the existing county road right-of-way. So I guess I would need more information, or to maybe the letter speaks to that to understand what the concern is.
Well, the concern is, and this doesn't have anything to do with the letter, it has to do with your consultant planner's public information. Part of that discussion on that road was to do everything in the right-of-way, and you laid out a plan, and you had the parking and where the parking would go and how many spaces, and we approved that basic concept of a plan. And now we're talking bricks and pathways with bricks or concrete bricks or real bricks. There's light, and we also specifically said there would be conduit for street lighting, but there would not be street lighting. We wouldn't be paying for that. And in the plan, as 60% design shows, includes street lights all the way up Prune Alley. So that is not what we voted on, and it was mentioned specifically when we voted to not be doing that. So I'm just trying to figure out, where is the control on this project?
I think that's a good point, Mr. Stevens. I need to pull up my file to see if streetlights, what commitments council made the last time we were briefed on this.
Zero.
Yeah, and I know streetlights have taken a side discussion on their own with the community. And I certainly have been working at great lengths with EPRC and Mr. Hughes on the development of this project.
I guess why are we dealing with EPRC on a road project that's going within the right-of-way, where we have already sketched out where we're going to put the parking and how we're going to do it? I mean, we had great discussions about whether to curb and gutter or the rolling curb. We had all those discussions, and as I recall, the parting words, particularly of Councilmember Watson, was, "This is it. And if it doesn't get done this way, then we'll just pull the project." Which is, as Fred Klein said in his letter, over 7 years and different council members and different public works directors, things tend to keep changing. And I don't want to spend another 7 years on this project. And I just think it needs to be the road that we discussed when we gave you the go-ahead within the right-of-way.
Understood. I think I need to identify if we're doing anything that's different than what council had approved over a year ago, and I can get back to council to identify any changes that were made from what council had approved.
I guess what I'm saying is I don't want to identify any changes. I don't want any changes. And it's not identifying, it's not doing.
Okay.
That's where I am. I don't know where anybody else is, but if we're going to wait to vote on this till after the planning commission, I hope to have more information on this. And because to me, it either goes ahead the way we approved it, or we should just pull it, and we'll worry about it in another 6 years.
20.
So, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I have a question for Colin.
Go ahead.
Colin, so another way to, I guess, to answer the question or to look at this is the work that's being done on Prune Alley within the scope of work, the original scope of work that you have with the consultant, or have there been additions to that scope over time?
There has not been any additions to their scope of work. I think some of the concerns that are coming from the East Sound community is the architectural and aesthetic elements of the curb gutter and sidewalk, and so lighting has been rolled into that, and this brick pavers has been rolled into that, and this is where I may have allowed EPRC to have, and I could be mistaken over here, but my understanding was the EPRC was going to have some discretion over the architectural elements, some of the aesthetic accoutrements of the project. And so that would be what kind of trees, where the trees go, whether it be benches, if there was lighting, what the lighting would look like. It doesn't change the civil improvements, the storm drain, the underground utility accommodations, the locations, curb gutters, and sidewalks. Those things are unchanged and unaffected. But yes, the brick pavers at the intersections was something that was discussed by EPRC as an aesthetic element, and it has some quite a bit of debate behind it, as has street lighting and street trees, to be honest. And that was, we engaged EPRC kind of similar how we've engaged other community groups and other projects to help implement rural character. A good example is the Park and Ride and also Deer Harbor Bridge, where we worked with community groups to help pick a guardrail on Deer Harbor Bridge that was functional and met the project scope, but also allowed the local planning group some voice in how the project looked and felt. And so that was the intent of engaging EPRC, was to not let them change the design, but allow them to have control over the look and feel. But I certainly hear Mr. Stevens' concerns that comes with risk to the project's deliverables, and I need to revisit that to see if there are instances where we have gone astray.
So Colin, just for clarification, the designs that were in front of council had red bricking in the intersections. So the 30% designs that we approved on had the bricking in the bricking has been on every design that we have seen for a long time, or at least a designation of the intersections. And that was one of the ways we were using for slowing down traffic at the intersection. So, you know, I mean, Mr. Klein has voiced his opinion. EPRC in a meeting last week unanimously voted to support this road program, and told Mr. Klein that they didn't support his position and that we need to move on and get this project done. I think every property owner except for one, potentially on Prune Alley, is 100% supportive of this project, as it's been since the beginning, and has appreciated Public Works' time in trying to work within the boundaries of the right-of-way to not take property from people and to provide a safe and hopefully scenic route through East Sound. So I'm not sure that the letter from Mr. Klein is accurate, and it's not reflective, at least of the 5 members of EPRC and the many people who have attended meetings who are in support of this program. And I don't think we left the scope that we talked about. I think Colin and Jesse have done a really great job working with the community to find a solution to move forward to finish this project. I support where we're at right now and want the project to get going as soon as the utilities can begin moving their infrastructure. All right, Mr. Stevens, do you have any other comments regarding the TIP?
No, but I stand by my comments. And when EPRC has a budget, then maybe they'll take it a little more seriously.
Can you explain that, Mr. Stevens? I think EPRC has taken this incredibly seriously and spent a lot of time working with the community, going door to door, taking videos, trying to find a really good way to help design the road. Not design is the wrong word. How to help make the community be supportive of a road project in the center of town.
Like I said, streetlights weren't part of it, and that's an add-on that's expensive.
So, Mr. Stevens, I thought we had discussed low-profile lighting, but again, that's just from an old man's memory. So I think as far as prep for our next meeting, it would maybe be good for Mr. Huntermer to go back to the I don't know, whatever the version of the design that we approved how many months ago, and look for those variations, right? And we could walk through and see, you know, where those variations originated from and what the result is. I would agree with Mr. Huntermer's interpretation, which is EPRC has been tweaking the aesthetic streetscape, right? But not the civil engineering work. And, you know, like I said, as Mr. Huntermer said, the road design within the existing right-of-way issues. And so, and of course, you know, aesthetics can be debated forever. So, I would suggest that Mr. Huntermer look for those wherever there may be deviation, as well as you, Mr. Stevens, if you have your list of, I don't remember approving blah, 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 whatever it was, streetlights, for instance. Then we can have that discussion next week and then make a final decision.
Right.
And just for the record, the lighting is at the intersection, which was proposed and it's low downward lighting at the points of where the sidewalks are to provide illumination for people crossing the street. It's not up and down Prune Alley.
Exactly.
And it's all light, dark skies qualified. EPRC spent a ton of time trying to find a good aesthetic that would look great and provide the safety. It's dimmable lights, very similar to what we have in the park and ride. So this isn't every block has 10 lights. This is literally in the intersections facing the crosswalk, so people at night could pass safely. All right, thank you. Is there any other comments regarding, and I support what Mr. Watson has said about when we bring this discussion forward to have more information so we can confirm what we did agree to and make sure we're on target with what the original scope and plan was.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I have a question for Colin.
Sure.
Colin, in the scope that you have with the consultant, I believe that includes a construction cost estimate.
Yes.
Okay, and then I'm sure that comes at, I guess what I'm curious about is, at what point in their process does that come? And then I think that's where the deviation in the discussion is that, we have ballparked a number for that street, but if that cost has now increased 50%, then it has a large impact on the tip and what you can get done for future projects. So where in their scope do they provide a cost estimate for construction?
We get a cost estimate at major milestones, including the 30% design, which is what's on. I believe I'm sharing my screen with council. Right?
Yep.
And so I believe this is the conceptual design that council, and I need to confirm this because it's been quite some time, but I believe this is what council reviewed when it approved the project. And it does identify streetlights and some kind of brick accoutrements at the intersections. And it's the curb gutter sidewalk within the existing county road right of way. So this is largely consistent with what I believe exists today. And I also don't believe that any of the aesthetic deliberations by EPRC have a material effect on the project's costs, whether the bricks are herringbone or running bond pattern, or whether they're a different color. In the scope of this big project, I have not quantified those kind of aesthetic changes to be materially affecting the budget. But as let's see, we're in the 60% design now. As we get to 90% design, I'll have a much better understanding of how we are proceeding on track. But I feel very confident right now that we are within the original scope and budget as approved by council, and that the conceptual design has only been refined to the 60%. But like I said, again, I need to go back and take a look to see if there's something I'm missing. I don't think I am, but I will take a hard look at it. This is the first block from Main Street to the Fern Street parcel, and there's 3 phases of this, which are similar in look and feel up to School Road.
So, Mr. Stevens, it might help Mr. Huntemer if you send him your list of concerns.
Yeah, and I appreciate what your comments before, Bill.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm not seeing his screen, so I don't know.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
So Colin, if it's possible, could you please send these images to council?
I can, yes, I think a discussion is warranted here. These images are also publicly available on the county's website. That's where I retrieved them from. So under the Public Works Department, under the Prune Alley project, there is an archive of milestones. We have the preliminary design all the way back from 2003, 2016, 2019, which is, I believe, what council made a commitment to. And then, of course, the 60% design we have now. But I will provide links to these documents, which are publicly available on the county's website.
Great, thank you very much. Any other questions or comments regarding the tip? If not, per the discussion we had, I would entertain a motion to continue the public hearing to the 13th, is that right, on October 13th?
Yep. And Mr. Chair, I agree. I think we should continue the public hearing based on the level of discussion we had today, and provide citizens an opportunity to voice their opinions at the next meeting on the 13th as well. So, Mr. Chair, I move that we continue the public hearing to accept public testimony on the Transportation Improvement Plan, TIP, and the Annual Construction Plan, ACP, to October 13th at 9:15 a.m.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to continue the public hearing on the Transportation Improvement Plan, TIP, and Annual Construction Plan, ACP, with Colin Huntemer, 9:15, October 13th, in Friday Harbor. Any other questions or comments?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you very much. That concludes the public hearing for today. Does council want to take a 5-10 minute break or keep going?
5-minute break.
5-minute break.
All right, we'll be back at, let's just call it 10:15. Thank you.